And welcome to the B. Andrews Radio Show. Today is going to be a little bit different of a show. We're going to try to do our best to bring you our show from Fayetteville, North Carolina. We are on no, it's not a campus. We are in the Fort Bragg area. It's not area. What do I want to call this? We're in Fort Bragg.
We are in Fort Bragg.
We are on the Army base.
It's the name of the fort.
And we are broadcasting today. Yes, Fort Bragg. We are on the Army base. In fact, every once in a while, I don't know, will our microphones pick it up?
Probably not.
A couple of miles from the house, there is artillery practice going on, and it's like thunder, and we can hear it from here. And it's kind of cool. There's a boom, boom.
Yeah, you see ripples in your coffee cup. It's like, oh,
yeah. And so, I mean, I guess that just makes it official. We are on Fort Bragg, where the shells are going and this kind of stuff. Over on this side of the microphone, where you have your host today, Eric Hambrock, and over on the other side of the microphone, on the other side of the room, is your other co-host, John. Say hi, John.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Got kind of I'm a little bit flaky right now from sunburning, but we're gonna talk about that a little bit later.
Yes, we are all a little extra crisp right at the moment. We're all kind of dealing with our own level of sunburn. We are just completing our Florida tour. And so this show is coming to you from the road, and we're also at another one of our sister studios of the HBN. And just in case you don't know what that is the Hambone Broadcasting Network. I almost forgot it there. And he's looking at me. So you're listening to the HBN, the Hambone Broadcasting Network. This is one of our sister studios, the one that we have on Fort Bragg, by the way. And so that's the reason why we stopped in to record the show here. It happens to be a studio of another Hambone. And so we're using a back room. Does he know that we're doing this here?
I don't think so.
So this is like a secret broadcast?
Yeah, he'll just be like, hey, Chris, you got to listen to that show.
Yeah, we did it in your back room. And so we're having fun doing this kind of thing from Fort Bragg, reporting to you, and it's pretty good. We just come up and out of Florida. It was a long trip, 8 hours. So just little things on the road. And so what we wanted to talk to you about today is some of the things that have gone on during our Florida tour. It has been great.
Well,
it is
technically still going on. Our tour's not over yet.
Tour's not over. Tomorrow night we play at one more place. We will be at Fayetteville Wesleyan Church. Say it with me, everybody. Fayetteville Wesleyan Church.
That was pretty good, actually.
Yeah, that's how they say it here. Anyway, we will be at Fayetteville Wesleyan Church tomorrow evening playing for their youth group at 7 p.m. That's Wednesday. And we're really looking forward to that. Pastor Cindy is there and gives us a chance to play with that. But anyway, we've been around Florida, different places in Florida, and Florida. It's been a most interesting tour this year. A little bit different than others, but you know what? This is our 4th year for doing the tour in Florida. Yes, it is. John's got that puzzled look across the room. He's like, 4 years? Yeah, it has been 4 years that we've done the tour, and each year has been different. Something different or great has come out of each year. This year, what has come out of it is that we haven't been strictly Wesleyan church. I'm a Wesleyan pastor, and usually I call on our other Wesleyan churches and put it all together through Wesleyan churches. Let's see, we have been at a United Methodist church this year. We have been at a Presbyterian church this year. We have been at a Nazarene church this year, although we have been at that Nazarene church before. We were at an interdenominational classical Christian school of the arts. So we got to play for a school. But it was interdenominational, although it was more related to the Assemblies of God. They had several teachers that attended there. And then the rest was other Wesleyan pastors. We played for 3 new pastors this year. So that was rather interesting. So the tour has taken a bit of a different flavor. Something has always gone wrong with our transportation each year. One year we chewed up a tire and it almost came off the rim. Another year our inner and outer ball joints went and we had to have those totally replaced.
But this one is the coup de grace.
This year was the coup de grace. We'll talk about it in a later half. But our starter literally caught on fire on the Suburban.
Almost.
Well, no flame, but where there's smoke, there's fire. And it was smoking really good. It was hot enough to melt metal. Okay. And it melted the wires and everything around it.
I didn't think about that. But Florida's been in that really bad drought.
Yeah.
So if it wasn't for that parking lot, well, I mean, we'll get in more into it later, but if it wasn't for the parking lot, I'm just thinking about how bad that really could have been on top of that.
Oh, you mean because of the fire hazard?
Because of how dry it's been.
You know what? I never thought about that either.
Well, they had forest fire. They were having forest fires all around there.
Yes. So Everglades are on fire.
That's not the Everglades. The Everglades are further south.
That's true.
Boom.
But
geography.
But the grasslands around here are around there where we were. We've left that area. We're brown. We're dark. So, we've had those kinds of problems. So let me go back, and I'm just going to talk to John a little bit here. What has been your favorite memory so far of the tour? I mean, we got one more memory to go, and that is what's going to happen Wednesday night, Pastor Cindy.
Yeah. So that's almost not fair.
So it's almost not fair because who knows what can happen there. I mean, last year we had an incredible time with their kids and their youth. It started off with a pizza party. You remember that? And so we had pizza with them outside, and it was a good day. I love pizza.
I'm pretty easy to please.
Although, Pastor Baker, remember, we said he invited us to stay with them for lunch. But Pastor Baker told us, I don't know that you want to stay for this. And we're like, what are you having for lunch? And he said, pizza from Hungry Howie's.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about Hungry Howie's. I've never eaten. I've seen tons of them in Florida. We drive by. And I said, so rate it. How's Hungry Howie's, Pastor? And he's like, nah, you want to go somewhere else. It's like, okay, take the hint. When a pastor says the pizza's bad, the pizza's bad.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, back to you, John. Memory so far, what we've been doing.
I don't know. There's a lot to choose. Like you said, this is our 4th year, so we've made a lot of friends down here with a lot of the different pastors and their families and stuff. So really enjoyed getting to visit with the Lindsays again. The time of worship at their church was great.
Yeah, it was.
Really, God's been blessing the worship at all the places. So it's really hard to choose. The one day we got to go to Boca Grande, I'm pretty partial to that place. The beach there at Boca Grande in Florida. So, one of the off days we had, I really enjoyed that.
Hence the sunburn.
Yes, the sunburn.
Okay. So you got that. The outdoor, we did 2 major outdoor concerts. We talked about that in both places. Just a great time.
And beautiful weather. I mean,
yeah, the one day was a little hot. And so the one day was a little hot, the first Saturday that we were here, Pastor Mark's church. But wow, we got to play with their worship team, and they were good. Their lead singer. Oh my goodness, what a voice. What a voice. And then the second one, we played at Intercession City. Pastor Summerlin is there. Pastor Don. There's one church, and they're sharing the church to start 2 congregations. They came together and did a community-wide outreach, and wow, people from the community, they did a bouncy house, they had all that stuff, burgers, hot dogs. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that. We're going to take our first break. I need to refill my cup of coffee, and I'm sure you do too. You're listening to the B. Andrews Radio Show. Grab a cup, come on back.
Okay. So, yeah. Okay. So it means the last one will be a 15 instead of a 10-minute segment.
Is that where you want to tack it on to?
Yeah.
Okay, you got a total running time.
Unless
you got a total running time.
yeah, that's total. It won't.
Do you have?
Yes, it won't screw with my total running time. So, or it will just, because of this next part, talk about everything you want to talk about. We can just just make it 20 minutes. Sorry, dude.
No.
So we got about a minute before we come back on.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about maybe hearing some other of the background noises of the family here and who's with us, and then where are you going to pick up and what are you going to talk about specifically? And do you want to do you want to make it 15 minutes on the end? Do you want to at the last segment instead of 10 minutes, not counting the summation, or do you want to make it? Or we'll take a 10-minute summation if you want to do that. That might give you a little bit more time to talk about the individual places a little bit more.
How much time do we have? Let's talk. I'm just going to run down and I'm just going to mention the different pastors. And I'm going to bounce it off of you. Pastor Alex. First thing comes to your mind. I'm just going to do a random fire so we don't stay real long on it.
Okay.
Okay, Pastor Alex.
So do you want to keep that as a 15-minute set?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're getting ready to come in here.
Yep. So. Dad.
And we are back from our break. Thanks for hanging with us. You're listening to the B. Andrews Radio Show, special edition from Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Cups up, everybody. Hope you got your refill of your favorite caffeinated beverage. We actually brought, just in case you needed to know this, we actually brought our French press with us on the road because, it's hard to get good coffee on the road. It's hard to get good coffee in the hotel rooms.
It's stainless steel, so it travels really well, and it doubles also as a protection device if you ever get.
Yeah, that's true. You can pick that thing up and
it's anti-theft device. I keep it next to my seat in the Suburbans. Be like, whoa.
I can see you haven't had to use it. There's no dingers in it yet. And just so everybody knows, we don't stay 100% at hotels. We try to do our best to save money. And one of the precious gifts that is given to us is when a pastor opens up their home to us. Pastor Don White had done this with us, and he told us, he had said that God has blessed him with this home that he has. And so he opens it up to us, and we got to stay with him, and it really was a blessing. It saves us a huge amount of money, and as a host, I have to do what I have to do, you do what you have to do, and the home is yours. You won't get in my way, I won't get in your way, and do that kind of thing. Because there was one time we had a little bit of a break, and John and I needed to touch our instruments to refresh our memories on some things. And we had a little rehearsal, and try not to bother him, because believe it or not, Pastor Don has entered into a Doctorates of Ministry program, also known as a D-Min. That's the shortened version of it. And so here's a guy that's working on his doctorates in ministry. And oh man, the books. He just got a boatload of books that had just come in while we were there. And he's like, oh, look at my reading material. This is for the book of Acts that I have to do on. And it was a 4-volume commentary just on the book of Acts. And I'm like, you got to read all that? He goes, oh yeah, I have to read all 4 books for the book of Acts. And there's like 400, 500 pages per volume. It's like, oh man. Better you, Pastor, than me. So anyway, hey, John, this is what I want to do. I'm going to rattle off a pastor's name of the different pastors that we've had contact with over the past week and a half. And I just want you to say the first thing that comes to your mind about the pastor. Okay.
Maybe I should use a filter.
Isn't there a filter already on there?
I mean, on my mind.
Oh.
And then probably a secondary one on my mouth.
You needed to be double filtered? Okay, no. You know what? You're making people think out there that there's something wrong with these pastors, that you're going to say something.
Actually, these guys were all great guys. They really were. And it was great getting to meet all of them.
A couple ladies in the mix?
Yes. Yeah. Well, I didn't mean to be sexist.
Okay.
Okay,
Right.
I had Pastor Alex stuck in my mind, and it's all about him. It really is, and so that's just why I did that in the masculine. I referenced him in the masculine.
Okay.
All of them.
And of course, when you say Pastor Alex, it's De La Torre.
I don't think you're saying it right.
I probably ain't.
You had to hear the way he said
so let's
it.
start with
it was so
Pastor Alex.
Caramel macchiato. Those are all inside jokes.
They're his words too.
These are all his words. We cannot be gotten in trouble for saying any of these things. He said it first.
Yes, he said it first. All right. Pastor Don.
Pastor Don, gracious.
All right. Pastor Mark. Why are you laughing?
I was going to say bald. We love you, man. I'm sorry. That's what I'm saying. We shouldn't have done this.
True.
We didn't practice any of this.
No, okay.
He just looked at me in our last break, and he's like, "This is the way I'm going to do this. Quick fire." I'm like,
okay.
Oh, man.
Pastor Rick.
I just pictured him with glasses, so glasses, I guess. Classical guitar.
Okay.
He actually showed me and gave me a little, because I play acoustic, but in our talking, I found out he played classical guitar, and he was showing me just how different the two instruments really are. And showed me some of the, he has formal teaching on the classical guitar, and showed me some of the techniques that he was taught, and gave me a really good piece of advice that I actually want to share here, because I got to give him credit for this, because just on these last few shows we've played, and how much better I've been playing, he told me, when you play, you just got to relax. He's like, if you're all worked up, your fingers are tight and everything, you're going to be messing up all over the place. He's like, if you just relax, he's like, you'll be amazed. And when you relax, when you practice, you relax when you play, how much smoother and how much more you'll be able to play. And I really took his advice to heart, and sure enough, man, it has helped me tremendously. So for any of you musicians out there, anybody playing guitar or piano, he plays multiple instruments. Just relax and let your hands do what they're going to do. Take it easy.
And one other cool thing about Pastor Rick, he currently is working with a group of people that has just influenced the entire legislature for the state of Florida. They just got a bill passed. It passed the floor. It's getting ready to go to the governor's desk. And the whole idea of the bill is to give parents and the public equal say in what local school districts are selecting for curriculum for public schools. So kudos to him.
Okay, going back, Pastor Mark really was a great guy. We got to meet him for the first time this year, and he's a new pastor down in Florida and everything. He really was a great guy, and really had his eyes open to see what God was doing there at his church and what he's doing and working. We got to work with his worship team while we were there, and it was really cool. He really had open eyes and spiritual eyes to see the way God's working there. He's the man for the job there. We got to hear his testimony and how God brought him into the district and stuff, and he's a really cool guy. We really loved meeting him. And not only that, I feel bad for calling him bald. He had hair. He had hair up there.
Yeah,
it's just you said the first thing that pops in your mind. That's not fair to do that to me.
All right, Pastor Mike Lindsay.
Pastor Mike Lindsay. Man, I keep wanting to say gracious for all these guys, because he takes us out for dinner and stuff. But funny, I'll go with funny.
Yeah. Oh, he is. Yeah, he is. He is hilarious.
He's a hoot.
All right, Pastor Summer Lynn.
Summer Lynn. I got to meet her very little, actually.
Yeah.
Would it be bad if I said blonde?
She was blonde. That would be accurate. Somebody that we all probably should lift up in prayer.
Very much so. She's got a lot going on.
She's got a lot going on and a lot of stress and a lot of personal issues, things that I
I
don't want to mention. But
Yeah.
there's a pastor that is doing a great job leading people and has kind of been blindsided a little bit.
I would say go get her for her because we have only gotten to meet her so much, but we've heard from Pastor Don, who they share the same building for their congregations, has been saying about how much work that she's been doing, going out, getting involved in the community, and personally inviting people. So she's a hard worker and a go-getter.
All right. Pastor Bob Baker.
Pizza.
Oh, pizza? Here, I thought you got to tell this story. We drive up. He's standing outside the school at 8 a.m. in the morning, and he approaches. And I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, he looked like somebody I had met before. As he's walking up to the vehicle, I'm telling Kay and John, I'm like, oh man, I've met this guy before. Looks like, and so John rolls down his window. He says, "You're the band. I just want to introduce myself." And I said, "Pastor," I said, "have we ever met before?" He goes, "I get that a lot." He turned sideways so that I could see his profile, and he goes, "Bill Clinton?" He was a hoot.
It's like, I've never met Bill Clinton.
So
And no.
But anyway, he was a blessing and a passion about running that school for the arts in order to use music and arts in order to reach people for Jesus Christ.
Yeah, to communicate Jesus Christ. It's a really cool, and to hear his passion for it was really cool.
Yeah. Okay, Pastor Raphael.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Well, Raphael is one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, yes.
But he's also, people don't know this, he's also a pastor in Florida.
Yeah. Have you ever seen them at the same place at the same time?
Well, Pastor Raphael didn't have a turtle shell on his back either. But he had a nice beard. He had a good beard. Beard.
Dude, he rocked the beard. Yes, he did. So those are our pastors, little bit what we've learned about them, and it's just some fun
Is that
things.
it? Was those all the pastors?
Just the last one, senior pastor, Pastor Derek, who mixed sound for us. And then there's other people, and I give a shout out because Pastor Derek is the one that took a chance on having us in. And so thank you to Pastor Derek. Also, the term gracious comes there because people don't have to give us a chance. They don't have to do that. And so that they do and say, "Hey, let's try this." That's awesome.
Well, Pastor Raphael was pretty cool. He's another hard worker. He's getting ready to take how many people would do this? He's getting ready to take a full busload of kids or a van load of kids over on a short-term missions trip to Alabama. What was the name of that town? He said it's a little tiny town.
Oh.
Either way, they've been hit by storms. Economically, it's a poor area. They're dealing with all this and so Wetumpka, yeah, sounds like a place in Wisconsin. Actually,
Iowa.
Well,
Iowa.
Actually,
I know.
There's more than one Wetumpka.
Well.
Anyway, but he's a hard worker. He's going to do that. They're starting a new ministry. They're a coffee house ministry down there in Florida where they're at, and so he's another hard worker. Got to meet him and his family. He was a really nice guy. A joy to be around. He's really cool.
Absolutely. So,
and I really did like his beard. That was pretty nice.
And he said when he gets the coffee house going, man, I want to have B. Andrews come back down so we could do this coffee house thing. And I'm just like, yeah,
we'd love to.
Absolutely. So speaking of coffee, my cup is empty again, and something
That's
tells
your
me
excuse every time. Like, we got to go to a break. Coffee.
Yeah. Do you know a better excuse?
Or does the one actually fund the other? Does the one cause the other? So it's not that I need to take a break, so now I'm going to go get coffee. Or is it I need to go get coffee, so I have to take a break?
Actually, exactly. It's time for a break, and I just looked down and realized I finished all my coffee, so I got something to do when we go on break. And I figure most everybody listening to the show is pretty much the same way. They're coming up on a break. You know what? I go get some more coffee.
They're doing important things.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you're doing something important, why don't we take a break and we all go get some coffee? And I want to say thank you for listening to the B. Andrews Radio Show. Let's take a break right now. And come on back. We got some things to finish up on.
Did you hit something with your chair? What did I hear? Oh, I'm like, what was that?
Did
You didn't mention about Bunky and stuff. Okay, so next time I guess we're going to do the 25, 35, 40. So it's the 40-minute break. So we'll make it up. We'll make 40 minutes. And then instead of 45, it'll be the 40-minute mark. And then the ending will have 5 extra minutes in it. So the ending will be a little bit longer, which will probably be good if you want to talk about the personal, if you want to talk individually about the way God moved on individual services. That's probably best. So,
well, we were going to talk about sunburn, gator.
That's in this section. I was talking about in the summation. You know, 5 extra minutes to cover places personally.
Well,
and to be like, this is what God did here. This is what God did here. This is some of the
actually, I'm probably going to focus in on one thing: the impromptu concert.
Really?
Yeah.
I would mention the other ones.
There's a reason why.
Okay.
There's a reason.
Follow you on that. Okay. We'll be back on in. Oh, okay. About 40 seconds here. So we'll cover the stories in this part. This 10 minutes or 15 minutes. It's not a 15-minute segment, which will take us to 40 minutes though. So. Okay.
40 minutes? No, the next 10 minutes will only take us to...
No, it's 15-minute section. It's a 15-minute section.
Oh.
Because this is only the second... No, we have to make up... No. This is the third section.
Mm-hmm. Because we were short there. You went short on this one a couple of minutes, too.
I didn't. Took it...
For making it up.
I didn't make it up. Okay. Do you want to cut off 10 minutes?
Cut off 10
Do you want to cut it off at 10 minutes or 15 minutes? Do you want it to be a 15-minute segment?
No, 15-minute segment.
Okay, here we go.
All right, welcome back. Did you get your beverage of choice? Actually, we were yakking too much. I didn't get to go and get anything. I'm running low here, so let's see if we can keep the high octane energy going on the B. Andrews Radio Show.
I drank most of mine while we were talking, setting up for the show. So
okay. Anyway, as I had mentioned earlier, we are in one of our HBN. One of our HBN studios. That's the Hambone Broadcasting Network.
Oh my goodness!
I have brain cramp. Hambone Broadcasting Network.
He means my brother's house.
Yes, that's where we are. Somewhere in the basement because there is artillery going off outside.
They're not shooting at us. We're good.
Yeah. In the other room, I don't think it's bled over onto our microphones, but over in the other room and up above us, I have my grandson running around. Well, we're in the basement, man. So listen. We're in the shelter house. Okay. So
they can hear me glaring at you.
Can you hear him glaring at me? He doesn't like it when I pretend. So, John, just quick. Just stop. Just stop the glaring. Okay. No, I'm putting on my shades now. I can no longer see you glaring at me.
You just have to take off your glasses. You don't have to put on anything.
I can see you glaring at me. All right. So anyway, being that we are here at one of our studios in the HBN, Hambone Broadcasting Network, we are coming to the end of our tour. By the way, one of the things I want to mention is coming up on May 19th at the Tri-County School. We are, B. Andrews is going to be in concert.
In Hancock, Wisconsin.
In Hancock, Wisconsin.
Or, Plainfield, Wisconsin.
Yeah, I said that. See, you led me astray.
Well, it's just that we've been in Florida. We're in North Carolina right now, so I'm just kind of like...
Okay, let me back up
this state
so that I say this correctly. On May 19th in Plainfield, Wisconsin, we are going to be at the Tri-County School in concert, 7 p.m., Friday, May 19th. Looking forward to that. It's going to be a great time that evening. We are going to give away a guitar. Yes, I said that. We are going to give away a guitar to a person who wins our air guitar contest. Now, the way that works is that John is literally going to take the guitar we're going to give away. We're going to show you that you can get these sounds out of that guitar, that it's not just a toy. Okay, and he's going to play on it, and he's going to play some guitar riffs. And when we do these guitar riffs, people that are selected from the audience that would like to participate, I think we're probably going to run with 6 lucky contestants, and we'll bring them up on stage. And as the crowd will vote for them by applause, it will narrow it down. We'll go from 6. Where did I start with 2? We'll go from 6 to 4 to 2, and we'll have a playoff. And the winner of the very last one gets to win the guitar. It's a Rogue electric guitar starter kit. And you can find that on our B. Andrews page, Facebook page, at B. Andrews, like somebody's name, first name B-E, last name A-N-D-R-E-W-S, B. Andrews. So at the May 19th concert, Tri-County School in Plainfield, Wisconsin, we are going to be giving away a free guitar to the winner of our air guitar contest. So you'll want to be there that night. Bring some kids. It's going to be a blast and a lot of fun. All right, coming up out of the Florida tour, we have some stories to tell. A couple of weeks ago, we did an episode about stories on the road. These stories are fresh. They just happened. One of those stories I'm going to let John tell about, because we talked about Pastor Don. And Pastor Don let us stay at his place. Now, he lives inside a gated community. And so I want you to picture this. And he has this beautiful big home inside this gated community. And he has a pool out back, and it's all screened in like a lot of Floridians do. But in this gated community, they have several ponds. And so Pastor Don has a pond out back, and he tells John, hey, by the way, if you want to go fishing, if you need to take some time and a little break, he said, I know that you guys like to get away and do things. So if you want to go fishing, I got some fishing gear in the garage, and just help yourself. And if you need to relax and go fishing, go ahead and go fishing. And then this is what happened.
Okay, so we found out that the neighborhood kind of keeps a pet back there. For lack of a better term to call an 11-foot alligator.
Whoa!
That makes its way between the different ponds. Yeah, that's getting a little too big for my taste anyway. So we go out there, and we knew he was back there somewhere. We had seen him the day before. So we knew this 11-foot alligator was back here, and the pond is kind of horseshoe shaped, and it at the horns it widens out, and at the bottom of what you would call, like, I guess the base of the horseshoe, it gets real thin. And so we don't see him. You know, me and Karen's out there with me. We're looking around. I'm like, keeping a watch for him. I'm not getting too terribly close to the water's edge. But I'm keeping an eye out. Well, we fished around the one side. Pastor Don's house is kind of on the one side of the horn, and so we go down to where it gets real narrow, and we look across the way, and I mean, you could jump halfway across this. It's pretty narrow. Fishing in there, and I caught 2 11-inch, 10-inch smallmouth, bass while we were there. Anyway, so I'm reeling in the one, and Karen looks over, and she's like, "Oh, there's the alligator." And right where it thins, he's just on the other side of that, bathing in the sun.
He was up on the bank?
No, he was still in the water, but he was right up against
the bank.
Yeah, he was
but
right
in
up
the
against.
water.
But yeah.
Okay.
So we get over there, and suddenly, we get over there, and I'm reeling in the fish and everything, and he starts to swim along the other bank. I mean, just on the other side. I mean, I could jump halfway across this. It's not very wide. And he goes, and Karen's like, "Oh, he's coming over towards us." I'm like, "No, we're fine." So I reel in the fish, get him up on shore, and I'm unhooking him, and about that time, he's straight away across from us. And I take it off the hook, and I'm like, well, he's getting a little too close. Let's we'll get out of here. We'll fish somewhere else. As soon as I throw the fish back, right, and it hits the water, that 11-foot gator changed direction. Zoomed in right where we threw the fish, which was right in front of me. And he starts swimming over, and I'm like, okay, Karen, let's go. We're leaving now. We'll go fish somewhere else.
So basically, and I think he did this the day before, when he catches people fishing, he goes by where the people are fishing.
Well, you hook a fish, or like say you have to half kill the fish to get the hook out of its mouth. You throw it back. That's easy. That's easy lunch right there. I mean, he doesn't have to work even.
Didn't you read the sign? Don't feed the gators.
I didn't feed the alligator. The fish I threw back was like, no. He's coming.
Mister, let me go.
This happened to Jimmy just last week. So
Jimmy,
I knew he knew it was coming, and he was out of there too. Here comes the gator, and sure enough, me and Cameron were down the bank, and right where I threw the fish back, he was sitting there on shore, like, well, where'd you put him?
Yeah, man, you're supposed to get. You know what gators do, right? When you don't treat them right, when you're not looking, they write your name down somewhere.
Yeah, I remember.
I remembered you. That's right, because they live to be very old, so they can get even. One of the things that I found out about Florida. Seriously, I found out about Florida. Look, I am flaking because I have a sunburn on my left arm.
Yeah.
Only on my left arm. Tell me, why do you sunburn only on your left arm in Florida?
Well, who was driving?
Me.
And what arm sat in the windowsill?
My left arm.
And for how long were you driving?
But it doesn't matter. We head east. My arm is in the sun. We go and turn around and head west. My arm is in the sun. We go north. My left arm is still in the sun. We go south. My left arm is still in the sun. It doesn't matter what direction you go.
Okay, I can think of like two fixes for this problem. Number one, we go on tour in Britain. Number two,
where the sun doesn't shine.
Number two, we get a vehicle with the steering column in the center of the vehicle, and they don't make those. Or you know what? There's a third option. Like Mr. Ron, our letter carrier.
Yeah,
he sits in the passenger side, but then drives with his left arm.
British vehicle and bring it over and drive on the wrong side of the road. Well, then my right arm would burn.
Well. But no, you could do it like the mail carriers do. They sit in the passenger side and reach all the way across the driving steering wheel.
Okay, I gotcha. Okay, I gotcha. And so I went through that, and my arm is just frying. I got finally to the place where I kept a towel over on my side of the car so that we could go through and I could wrap my arm up in a towel if I was wearing a short sleeve shirt, and we could go driving down the road. So we're here. And we always have vehicle trouble when we're in Florida. Always. Every year we've either had to buy tires, or one year it was a ball joints went out. We've always ended up having problems. This year it was our starter. So we happened to it was in concert with Pastor Summerlin and Pastor Don, where they are doing the joint churches together. And Pastor Don, as what we ask is if they could just do a free will offering for us and feed us. So Pastor Don goes out, and we get done. We're loaded up, and he says, hey, it's my turn to feed you. Let's go get something to eat. So he takes us out to eat. We come out of the restaurant. For those of you that are familiar with Florida, it was a Publix strip mall. So Publix is the anchor store in there, which is a grocery store. So we come walking out in this great big huge parking lot, and I turn over the key, and I get this sizzling sound underneath. It's kind of like, I'll try to redo it. It's like that. And I quickly shut it off, and I take off the key, and for the next 7 seconds, it continues to go. It didn't stop. And I'm like, oh no, what's happening? And John goes, I smell smoke. And we pop open the hood, and smoke starts.
That's after you're like, everybody out of the vehicle.
Everybody out of the car. And everybody jumps out of the vehicle. We pop open the hood. For the next minute, we go around, and we're just trying to find where the smoke is coming from. And I just accidentally take this pen light, and I go over top of the wheel well, trying to look down at the base of the engine. And John goes, there it is. and you look, and you can see over top of the wheel well frame, and right there sits the starter, and the solenoid sitting on top of the starter, and the stream of smoke is just pouring out of the top of the solenoid.
And it's not stopping.
It's not stopping, and it just so happened that God blessed us with an electrical engineer from NASA. Happened to be with us. His name?
Pastor Don White.
Yeah. He's really is our hero. He really is our hero this trip. And he's like, disconnect your batteries. And sure enough, the tools came out. And we started disconnecting all the batteries. And as soon as we ungrounded it, boom, it stopped. So, and what we have found out, John had the Suburban out about a month before this, and he brought it home from that time, and he said, Dad, something's burning on the Suburban, and I couldn't identify the smell, but as close as I could come to it, we thought it was the brakes. This starter has been doing this for some time, and God has really protected us. We could have been alongside the road. It could have been a situation going down the road that it caught on fire with the wind and the air hitting it. And we be in a position where we couldn't stop and get out. Somebody could have gotten killed, but here we were sitting. It was just in a parking lot, and the trailer was on, and it was just parked. It was parked in a big, huge spot. We were all safe. And as much as I didn't want to have to go through it at all, at least God saw us through to a part where he kept us protected. And so it was just incredible. So all the next day, or I shouldn't say all the next day, that happened on Saturday, and then Sunday we had two more places that we had to go and be at. Pastor Don loaned us his vehicle. We traded out the Suburban for a Lexus. Can you believe that? I mean, that's suffering for Jesus right there. Awful hard to take an offering when people see you coming in a Lexus. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, we made everything, and from there, we made all the parts and all the points that we were supposed to. So Monday we came back. Pastor Don got us around, and we got the starter fixed. And God gave us an electrical engineer from NASA to look over our work in order to make sure that we were doing things right. And there was one thing, and he said, hey, if you change this up, I think it'll actually work better for your dual battery system. And so we got an improvement. There was one other thing that happened that really amazed me, and Pastor Mike Lindsay took us out for our dinner. He and his family fed us, and we had a great time together. And as we were there and together, there was a person that the pastor was trying to minister to in the community. They own a restaurant, and the restaurant owner was having a birthday. Donna Marie, I think was her name, and found out that we were a band and asked if we would do a song. So we grabbed our harmonica, and John grabbed his guitar, and we sang for her. It was a pleasure to do so. It was a lot of fun. We made a lot of noise, that's for sure. It's little moments like that on tour where you get those times to actually have a tender-hearted ministry. When we finished, she had misty eyes. We touched her heart and asked, hey, if you guys come back, can we do something again? It's not about perpetuating the ministry. It's about touching people's hearts and touching their hearts so much that their lives are changed. That's why we do what we do. We just do it through music. I want to challenge people out there that are listening to this show. Do what you do in order to help reach and change people's lives for the kingdom of God so that they will see Jesus through you, whatever that is. I got farmers I know that are out there. Well, you know what? People can see Jesus through you. We got people that do all different kinds of things. You know what? It doesn't matter even if you're retired and you're not in the workforce anymore. Everything that you do all for the glory of God. That wraps up our show, and we're so glad that you tuned in from Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Join us next week, next Tuesday, for the next episode of the B. Andrews Radio Show. Take care, everybody. See you then.